Welcome to the Magic of Emotional Intelligence series. I am your host, Abiola Salami. On this series, we share emotional intelligence insights to enable career professionals, entrepreneurs, and politicians achieve peak performance in their space. On this episode, we shall be discussing critical reasons entrepreneurs must master emotional intelligence. But before we get into it, let's go for a quick break. Entrepreneurs literally make the world go round. They create value from organizing human and material resources with the hopes of profits and other business goals. In embarking on this quest, entrepreneurs invariably create solutions in exchange for compensation from both users and other stakeholders. This introduction is very important in highlighting the important role entrepreneurs play in defining the world. While business intelligence is quintessential to the making of a successful entrepreneur, one of the skills necessary for effectively managing people and materials is emotional intelligence. No matter how successful an entrepreneur is, the introduction of emotional intelligence will exponentially increase desirable outcomes. This is because emotional intelligence makes you aware of yourself and others. And when that happens, demand and supply becomes a natural consequence. Entrepreneurs are always on the prowl, looking for gaps in the market, what people need. Daniel Goleman's 5 components of emotional intelligence speaks directly to the entrepreneur's need to weaponize market intelligence. 1. Self-awareness, which is the ability to understand your own emotions and how they affect the people around you. 2. Self-regulation, the ability to effectively manage and express your emotion. 3. Intrinsic motivation, which is your personal drive to improve and achieve. And 4. Empathy, the ability to understand how other people are feeling. And social skills is number 5, which is the ability to develop a strong rapport with other people. Now, the following ways are the reasons entrepreneurs should pay attention to developing emotional intelligence. Number 1 is emotional intelligence helps to identify your target audience. The delusion of a lot of entrepreneurs is that they believe what they are offering is for everybody. They usually face a rude awakening in no time. This is because while it is great to have a global outlook, the reality is that you are serving a defined market. You are better serving a defined niche, a defined market. And except you are selling natural air that every human being on earth needs, you cannot boast of a universal demand for your products and services. Even as ubiquitous as Google, it can't reach everyone. Emotional intelligence makes you aware of your market, hence the need to develop a customer avatar, which is your buyer's profile, what you call the customer persona. The ideal customer for your goods and services comes from that. This knowledge is reflected in everything the entrepreneur does. It makes you more strategic as an entrepreneur. Number 2, emotional intelligence helps to improve your communication. You see, when an entrepreneur is emotionally intelligent, it reflects in how the individual addresses both the internal and external stakeholders, which is customers, investors, regulators, employees, and other people that relate with your business. Such an entrepreneur knows what the touch points for the other party is and they communicate based on those touch points. Steve Jobs was a skillful communicator, such that Apple events were built around his ability to effectively connect to these stakeholders, and people look forward to his speech than even the new products that is to be unveiled. Number 3, emotional intelligence helps to develop more empathy. Emotional intelligence empowers you as an entrepreneur to see things from the perspective of other people. People with a parochial paradigm only have a hammer, and hence every problem looks like a nail. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in another person's proverbial shoes, to see things from the other person's perspective, to live a moment in the other person's world. You don't even have to agree with their standpoint, but it helps you to understand them better. Empathy is particularly useful for problem solving because entrepreneurs have the end users at heart when designing products and services. For example, there is a distributor who has faithfully done business with an organization, but at present, the individual is going through a rough patch. And an entrepreneur with empathy will realize that not only is that distributor credit-worthy, or that the distributor has been a long-standing partner to the organization, but the entrepreneur can give this distributor a discount or supply the individual goods and services on credit, which is perhaps not you are doing for that distributor before. And this will endear the distributor to you. Number 4, emotional intelligence helps with personal development. When entrepreneurs are self-aware, they identify their unique strengths, their areas of improvement, their opportunities and threats. What follows the recognition of a competitive advantage is an investment in it. Such emotionally intelligent entrepreneurs usually become more intentional about building their personal capacity. By deliberately investing into your core competencies, you turn your talent into high-ticket skills. They are able to negotiate more profitably, and your staff can maximize more opportunities. At the age of 19, a relatively unknown lady had a low-paying job as a co-anchor for a local evening news. In little time, she had her own primetime TV show. Today, she owns a television network, a production company, and she's the richest black woman on the planet. Guess who I'm talking about? Oprah Winfrey, my auntie. One of her not-so-secrets for success is her love for books. In fact, she loves books so much that not only does she author books, she has her own book club. That's the place of personal development. Number 5, emotional intelligence helps you as an entrepreneur, you the business leader, to manage people more effectively. An emotionally intelligent entrepreneur is an employee's delight, the kind of leader people love working for, not because they have to do the work, but because they love to do the work. The entrepreneur knows that a cohesive workforce is important to the growth of the organization you are leading, and you will do whatever it takes within reasonable ambits to ensure it. The ability to quickly diffuse tension, to manage conflict, is a superpower. The idea is that nobody wins when the family is at war. So they focus on the issues instead of attacking personalities. When COVID-19 wreaked havoc on the hospitality industry, amongst other things, revenues of organizations were almost wiped out. The largest hotel chain in the world, Marriott, which employs over 200,000 people, faced inevitable downsizing. The CEO, Arne Sorensen, sent a video message assuring them that the organization will bounce back even if difficult decisions had to be made. Number 6, emotional intelligence helps entrepreneurs to network better. You see, emotional intelligence helps to boost the self-confidence of entrepreneurs, and it helps them to network better with other entrepreneurs. Notwithstanding the fact that competition in the corporate sphere is cutthroat, there are opportunities for collaboration to be explored. This is a very strategic move for entrepreneurs who seek to show off their economies of scale by joining forces with other entrepreneurs who own and manage organizations in the same industry. During Euro 2020, which was played in 2021 owing to the pandemic, the leadership of Coca-Cola, Heineken, Qatar, Takeaway, TikTok, and Vivo collaborated to sponsor the tournament. It is a more cost-effective approach for each sponsor because they got to pay a fraction of the sponsorship fees, but they got the maximum exposure in terms of millions of viewership. Entrepreneurs can collaborate on group marketing, group pitching, co-working spaces, group retainer, legal services, and many other things you can collaborate with other entrepreneurs. But emotional intelligence is critical to helping you to ensure this collaboration works. Number 7, emotional intelligence helps to better manage your finances. There is a common saying that most entrepreneurs spend the money they don't have on things they don't need to impress people who are indifferent to their actions. Emotional intelligence makes entrepreneurs aware of what is more important to them and the organizations they run. It increases your ability as an entrepreneur to delay gratification. In fact, somebody said that if you cannot manage your emotions, you cannot manage your money. Human needs are insatiable, and with limited resources, there has to be a strategic allocation of these resources in achieving optimal outcomes. A lot of entrepreneurs still don't know the difference between assets and liabilities, so they spend money on things that do not have sustainable value. Instead, such acquisitions unnecessarily increase their expenses. For example, with high inflation and exchange rates, it is not a smart move to hold huge cash balances in local currency because the value will greatly diminish. Instead, an emotionally intelligent entrepreneur will either hold such cash in more stable currencies or invest it in income-generating assets. Number 8, emotional intelligence helps with your creativity. Entrepreneurship is anything but a straight line. It is like taking a long walk on eggshells, laced with twists and turns. A powerful example is the disruption that the COVID-19 pandemic brought to the corporate world. Organizations had to recalibrate their business models in order to survive. What was touted as the new normal was really a new way of thinking because, you know what? Things like non-pharmaceutical interventions, hand sanitizers, maintaining safe distances, all of those things came up. Entrepreneurs had to deploy more digital technology to communicate and reach their customers. Restaurants had to deploy delivery services because people couldn't eat on site, and most events had to hold virtually because movements and large gatherings were restricted. Many entrepreneurs that lacked emotional awareness got stuck and couldn't innovate their way out of such a challenge. Emotional intelligence helps you to identify opportunities as an entrepreneur because you focus more on what people need and not just what you are going through. Number 9, emotional intelligence empowers you for succession planning. An emotional intelligent entrepreneur knows that the organization he or she runs is a separate legal entity by itself. So, if it is going to continue after your exit, the leadership pipeline has to be in place. This is the difference between a sole proprietorship and a standard organization. The retirement or death of a sole proprietor is effectively the end of such businesses, while the successor emerges in the latter. Entrepreneurs who are intentional about their organizations becoming a going concern ensure that the organogram factors in a succession plan not just at the top, but across all levels of leadership. And finally, emotional intelligence helps you to live a healthier life. Generally, entrepreneurs that possess emotional intelligence tend to live healthier lives because they manage themselves, their time, and stress better. A lot of crises are avoidable, and even those that are inevitable can be better managed. The leadership icon, John Maxwell, submits that life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. Emotional intelligence helps entrepreneurs to respond rather than react to issues. The vicissitudes of the corporate world can leave a huge toll on entrepreneurs. Emotional intelligence then empowers you as an entrepreneur to better manage such situations. Thank you for joining us once again on this episode. You can equip yourself and your team some more for peak performance by getting my new book, The Magic of Emotional Intelligence. Visit our website to get your copies. You can also follow us at Abiola Champ on all social media platforms. For coaching, training, speaking, and collaboration inquiries, please send an email to hello@abiolachamp.com. Until the next episode, keep rocking your world like a champion.